Hello, this is Tony Heller from RealClimateScience.com. A lot of scary looking red maps like this one have been appearing on television and on the internet. The point is to convince people that they are burning up and that unless they give up fossil fuels, it's just going to keep getting hotter and hotter. This map highlights all the states in the lower 48 that are forecast to reach over 90 degrees at some point in the next 10 days. So from July 23rd through August 2nd, every state except for Vermont is going to reach 90 degrees. So let's compare that forecast to what actually happened between July 23rd and August 2nd, 1931. Every single state was over 90 degrees Fahrenheit. 33 states were over 100 degrees Fahrenheit, and 10 states were over 110 degrees Fahrenheit. 1931 was much hotter than the forecast for the same dates this year. And the same 10-day period in 1930 was even hotter. 40 states were over 100 degrees and 16 states were over 110 degrees. Washington, D.C. hasn't recorded a temperature over 100 degrees in at least 6 years, but during the summer of 1930 they had 11 days over 100 degrees. Washington's official temperature record was set on July 20th, 1930 at 106 degrees. On that same day, July 20th, 1930, 110 degrees was recorded on Pennsylvania Avenue, and 108 degrees was recorded at the National Cathedral. If we look at the entire United States temperature record over the last 100 years, instead of Ben Knoll's red map, we'll see a completely different picture. The percentage of the United States reaching 90 degrees Fahrenheit between July 23rd and August 2nd has plummeted since 1931. This decline in hot weather has occurred as carbon dioxide levels have increased. And closely related to this is the percent of readings above 90 degrees Fahrenheit during that same 10-day period. That has also plummeted as carbon dioxide levels have increased. If we look at the entire year, the percent of U.S. stations reaching 95 degrees Fahrenheit or 35 degrees Celsius sometime during the year has plummeted since the peak in 1931, with this year currently at a record low. The National Climate Assessment shows that heatwave length, magnitude, and peak temperature were all much higher prior to 1960. The area of the United States being affected by very hot temperatures is much lower now than it was prior to 1960. You can see that clearly in this graph. The percent of U.S. stations reaching 95 degrees Fahrenheit sometime during the year has plummeted over the last 90 years. But NOAA's Climate Extremes Index shows the exact opposite trend. It shows that the area of the United States affected by hot summer afternoon temperatures has greatly increased to record highs. This graph is complete nonsense. It was made from the same data set as I used to plot this graph. So let's take a look at how NOAA came up with this fake Climate Extremes Index graph. Before NOAA generates graphs, they tamper with their own data. The purple line in this graph shows the actual thermometer data of afternoon temperatures in the United States over the last century. Afternoon temperatures have declined sharply in the United States over the last 90 years. But NOAA tampers with this inconvenient data to turn a cooling trend into a warming trend. Then this tampered data is used in their Climate Extremes Index to create another fake trend. Now they're showing very hot afternoon temperatures in regions of the United States where not one single thermometer recorded a very hot temperature. Of all of the U.S. government's fraudulent temperature graphs, this one may be the most ridiculous. The public is being bombarded with these meaningless red maps in an effort to demonize fossil fuels. The whole story is completely fake and has no basis in reality. Summer afternoons in the United States are not getting hotter. Over the last 90 years, they've gotten much cooler. Toto has been pulling back the curtain on this climate scam for the past 15 years. You can visit him, Kyrie, Caesar, Toki Upla, and the 4 new puppies on the web at realclimatescience.com.